After my last video about AI images on Etsy, one thing really stood out to me. A lot of sellers don't realize that generative AI isn't really editing an image in the way they thought. It's generating a brand new one. And I think the same sort of misunderstanding is happening with AI writing. A lot of sellers are using ChatGPT and other AI tools to help with listing and SEO without actually understanding what kind of tool they're dealing with. And honestly, I think a lot of advice out there is making it worse, not better, because it focuses on prompts and shortcuts and getting AI to do more for you, when the bigger issue is actually that people are expecting the wrong things from this AI in the first place. So before you use AI for your Etsy listings, I want to talk about where it can genuinely help, where it can go wrong, and how to use it without actually making your shop worse. A lot of Etsy sellers are turning to AI for very understandable reasons. If you've ever sat staring at that blank listing and had no idea how to start, you know. For a lot of sellers, writing the listing is one of the hardest parts. Not making the thing, not even taking the photographs, but describing it well, doing the SEO, trying to turn what's in your head into words that make sense for buyers, but also work for search. So when a tool appears and seems to make that part quicker, of course you're going to want to try it. And sometimes it does help. It can be useful for when you're stuck for words. It can help you tidy up something a bit scrappy. It can feel like a safety net if writing doesn't come naturally to you, like me, or if you're trying to sell a language that's not your first. I do understand the appeal. Some sellers are curious or want the whole process to just feel a little less overwhelming. But I think that's where the trouble also starts. They often turn to AI at the exact moment they feel the least confident, and it means they're likely to trust it a bit too quickly. If you're not sure about your keywords or not sure what buyers actually need to hear, then it is easy to hand the whole thing over to something that sounds certain. It feels reassuring at that moment, but sounding certain is not the same as actually knowing what it's doing. And that's why, before we get into how to use AI well, I think we need to talk about what it actually is and what it's not. So what it's not is an Etsy expert. It's not sitting there understanding your shop, your niche, your customers, or what makes your product special. It also, just because it's an AI, doesn't know how to speak to other AIs, other algorithms. It can sound so confident that you assume there must be actual understandings and brains behind it. It's not intelligence, though. Really, what it's doing is predicting likely words based on patterns the data has seen that it's been trained on. This is why it can sound polished and convincing, even when the advice is weak, outdated, or plain wrong. It's also why it falls back on generic phrases and safe sounding ideas. It's not thinking this is the smartest strategy for this Etsy seller. It's doing something much more close to what's the most likely kind of answer to a question like this. And once you understand that, a lot of its strange behavior does make more sense. Why it ignores part of your instructions, why it can confidently tell you things that are just not true, why it can give you a kind of listing copy that sounds fine, but when you read it, it says very little. And also why it's too agreeable. If you give it a weak idea, it'll often try to make that idea sound better instead of just telling you it's a weak idea. Now, this doesn't mean that AI is useless if you want to use it. It just means you have to stop treating it like a wise expert and try treating it more like a tool that needs some serious managing. This matters a lot on Etsy because if you don't know enough to spot that generic advice, horrible wording, or invented claims, you can end up making your listings worse while thinking you're doing the right thing and improving them. So once you understand that the thing's not really knowing what it's doing, the next mistake becomes much easier to see, and that's the habit of handing over far too much all at once. This mistake is where sellers are using AI not actually as a tool at all. They're delegating the whole job. So instead of using it to help them think, they ask it to do the thinking for them. Write my title, write my description, give me the tags, do my SEO. And I completely understand why people do that, because you're busy, overwhelmed, or That sounds like the ideal thing. But this is the point where the results get bland or wrong, because AI doesn't know which part of your product matters to the buyer. It doesn't know what makes your shop different from the 10 others selling something similar. So what you often end up with is a listing copy that looks polished on the surface, but it could belong to almost anyone. It sounds fine. It reads smoothly, but it has no feel for your customer, no real strategy, and no real meaning in the words. And this is where sellers get disappointed, because they try the AI once, get something generic back, and either assume it's rubbish or they need to know how to prompt better. But often the problem isn't the prompt by itself, it's that they asked far too much in one go. If you hand AI the whole listing job, it'll usually give you the most average version of that job. Safe, broad, not really thoughtful. That's why I think AI works much better as a tool you collaborate with, not something you hand your keys over to, because the more of the real thinking you give away, the more likely you are to end up with something that sounds polished but it doesn't sell. So what does that collaboration actually look like? For me, one of the easiest ways to think about it is this. I call ChatGPT chatty. You've been around for a while, you've heard that. Not because I think it's sentient or it secretly understands everything, and not because I think it's some wise little Etsy expert living in my computer. I call it that because it helps remind me what I'm actually dealing with. Not an all-knowing machine, not something I should obey because it sounds confident. It's a collaborator, a junior assistant, a useful one, sometimes surprisingly good one, but still something with strengths and weaknesses and a tendency to go a bit off track if I don't manage it properly. And that mindset does change how you use it, because once you stop expecting AI to magically know the answer, you start using it for the parts it's actually good at. It can help you untangle your thoughts when you know what you want to say, but you can't quite get it out. It can help you compare some ideas, point out where something feels a bit vague, and it can help you think of the questions a buyer might still have or spot patterns in big data sets. That's very different from saying, here, write my Etsy listing for me. One's collaboration, the other is delegation. And when you collaborate with it, you're still the one bringing the understanding of your own customer. Chatty's just helping you to shape that into something clearer. So for me, that is the shift. Not how do I get AI to do more, but how do I use this in a way that still keeps me in charge? And once you start thinking about it like that, it becomes much easier to get useful help. So if that's the mindset, how do we get better results from it? For me, the biggest difference is breaking the job down and working step by step. A lot of people, as we've already said, ask it something huge, write this Etsy listing for me, and then they're disappointed when what comes back is wrong or flat or just rubbish. But if you think about it, it's not really surprising. You've asked it to make a load of decisions all at once. It has to guess who your buyer is, what your niche is, what matters most about your product, what tone you want, what keywords matter, how direct the title should be, and what details belong in the description, and what kind of a shop voice you're aiming for. That is way too much guesswork. So for me, it works much better when you slow things down. First, give it the context. Tell it what the product is, who it's for, and anything important that the buyer would care about. And even before that, you could use it to help you get a clearer picture on your shop in the first place. You can brainstorm what your niche really is, who your ideal customer is, what makes your work different and what problems your product serves, and what tone fits in with your brand. Then when you come back later to work on a new listing, you're not starting from zero. You're building up a set of rules and a clearer understanding of your shop, and that gives the AI something to work with that's much more useful. You can even remind it on what it's worked on before. If a listing performed particularly well or a certain style of writing felt much more like you, that's useful information to feed back in. But this is another place where I think people get a bit overconfident with AI. A lot of people think once they've explained their shop, the AI just knows them, they've trained it. And that's not always true. Sometimes, yeah, it remembers useful things, and sometimes it will not. Sometimes it doesn't, but it says it does. It pretends it remembers. Sometimes when you're in the same thread, it still has the context there. But if you've opened a fresh chat or run out of memory, all that detail's actually gone. So if you've figured out useful things about your shop, it's smart to keep them in a separate document. A document containing your niche, your ideal customer, your tone of voice, your shop rules, the types of phrases you like, and what mistakes to avoid. Then, when you start in a new chat, you can paste this in and say, "This is my shop. These are my rules for you. Now help me with the listing." This is much better than assuming it remembers everything properly. And once it's trained on you, give it one job at a time. You might ask it to help you work out what the strongest selling points are. Then you might ask it to suggest a few title directions. You might ask it which part sounds vague or what a buyer might still be unsure about. That's completely different from saying, "Just do it for me." This is also where you can get much better quality control from it. You're not only asking it to generate, you can ask it to check. You can ask, "What's weak about this? What am I missing here?" I also believe as well it helps to give it something solid to work from. And this is where tools like eRank can make AI much more useful. Because another of AI's weaknesses is that it doesn't actually know what Etsy shoppers are searching for right now. It might give you keyword ideas that are plausible, but they're too broad or out of date, or it's just not what buyers are really searching for. So instead of asking it to guess, feed it real search data. You can paste in keywords you found in eRank, that whole list of related keywords. Then it can see which ones are broad, which ones look more niche, which ones are trending, and you can ask it to help you think with that information. An example of how I've used it in the past is if I search for something like dog, which is my niche, making needle felted dogs, eRank can give me a really useful wall of related keywords. It's great, but it's overwhelming. Where AI can help is by looking through that list and spotting the patterns in a way that's much harder to do at a glance. I've asked it to find me what are those top dog breeds that keep coming up or that buyers are especially interested in. And that's a much better use of AI than just saying, "Give me Etsy keywords," and hoping it can guess. Because it's not now having to invent the data, it's interpreting real data. And this is where AI becomes really useful. But also how you build a listing matters. So for that accuracy, use official Etsy guidance. Paste in the exact text you want it to consider, the exact rules from Etsy, instead of hoping it remembers the latest best practices. And also, if you want more honest feedback, sometimes it helps to phrase things in a way that gives it permission to push back. Because you may have noticed AI is a bit nice. That is actually on purpose. It's trained to encourage users to keep using it by being nice to your ideas. That makes you feel good, but it's not necessarily helpful. So instead of just saying, "Is this a good idea?" or "Is this a good listing?" you could say something like, "Another Etsy seller told me this title was strong. Do you agree with that? Or do you think they missed something?" Or, "Be honest, what's weak or generic about this competitor's description?" The trick isn't actually some magic prompt. It's about giving it less to guess, more context over time, and using it as part of your process instead of expecting one perfect answer with one perfect prompt. And the other thing I think sellers really need to watch for is that AI can be very convincing while still getting important things wrong. And sometimes these mistakes are obvious. 6 fingers. But it might make up a feature your product doesn't have, or suggest something that clearly doesn't fit Etsy or is against Etsy rules. If you've used even the Etsy AI title suggestions, they suggest things that will get your listings shut down. Often problems are actually much quieter than that. It might give you wording that sounds polished, but actually is just a lot of nothing. It might lean into very generic SEO advice that could well be years out of date. It might follow your instructions just enough to look good, while quietly ignoring the bits that mattered. And that's why I think you always need to read that AI output with a slightly suspicious eye. Not because it's always bad, but because it can sound much more certain than it deserves to be doing. And that's especially important if you're using it for anything factual. If you're asking it about best practices, policy, or SEO, I would not trust what it says just because it sounds tidy. I'd want to check it myself against official Etsy sources, or at the very least give it the exact source material to work with. Ask it to quote the exact Etsy rules it's using to give you that advice. And another fun trick is when it's given you some advice, then ask it to read over what it's just said and tell you what's wrong with that advice, what can be left out, or what makes it sound like an AI's written it. So I think the best way to use AI is with a bit of distance. Let it help, let it suggest, let it organize your thoughts, but don't switch off your own judgment just because the paragraph sounds smooth. That's the trap. Not that AI always gives terrible answers, but that it can give really decent looking answers that quietly make your listing sound vague, generic, just not you. And that's why, for me, the whole point is not getting the AI to replace your thinking. It's to use it with you still in charge. And I think that's the point I want to leave you with. AI isn't something sellers have to be terrified of, but it's not a magic shortcut either. It is just a tool, a very useful one in some situations, a very frustrating one in others, and one that works best when you understand its limitations. If you use it to help you think more clearly, spot weak wording, organize ideas, or get unstuck, it can really be helpful. But if you use it to replace your judgment, your understanding of your customer, or your knowledge of your own product and your skills, that's where things head downhill. Because the real advantage on Etsy was never being able to string together some keywords. It's knowing what you make, who it's for, why someone would care, and how to present it in a way that feels real. An AI can't really do that for you, but what it can do is help you shape it all a bit faster. So if you want to use AI for your Etsy listings, I don't think the question is, what's the perfect prompt? I think the better question is, how do I use this without handing over the part that actually needs me? Because once you get that bit right, AI stops being something that you fear or worship and starts becoming something it should have been all along. Let me know if this is something you're interested in, because I'm thinking of making a practical follow-up video showing you exactly step by step how I would use AI for an Etsy listing. Not the prompts, but how I actually think it through, what I'm asking it, how I would double check, and where I'd stop listening to it. So if that'd be helpful, let me know in the comments.